Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is going to be me ranking all of the palettes that I have tried in the year 2021. There are 70 palettes. Can you even believe that I've tried 70 palettes this year already? Whoa, that's a lot. It was fairly hard to rank, but not too terrible because I've been kind of working on this the whole year so that I wouldn't have to focus on what came to be 70 palettes and rank them all from scratch. So I've been kind of building on this throughout the year. I was gonna do this video at the end of June, but then the end of June got really busy. So here we are, middle of July. It's still barely over the halfway point, so I think we're still good. I hope you enjoy this video. I love doing my palette ranking videos, and it was fun to do it this style with all of them so far. I did do this halfway during the year last year, and then I just didn't do a ranking all of my palettes from 2020 in December because frankly I got very tired and stressed out by the end of Vlogmas, uploading every single day, but I'm gonna plan better this year, and since I've been keeping track of the ranking as it goes on, it won't be as overwhelming, so I do plan on doing a ranking all of my palettes in the year 2021 at the end of the year as well. And of course, my full eyeshadow palette collection and declutter will be at the end of the year, so stay tuned for that also. I'm excited. With all of the palettes that I mentioned today, I have done usually at least 1 or 2 tutorials with all of them. Pretty much all of them I've done at least a YouTube video with. Some of them I only did an Instagram video with if they were very not so much appealing to me. A lot of them I did both Instagram and YouTube, and then some of them I also even did an additional 2 looks video. So if you're curious, you can always search Butte Bean, name of palette, see what pops up. On my Instagram, you can go and just kind of look at my Instagram videos because I always do like what the palette looks like as the thumbnail for it. So you can go check those out if you need some inspiration. There are videos on everything. Before we hop into this ranking though, I did of course film this look. As always, I film every look you see on camera. It should already be up on my Instagram and TikTok by the time this video goes up. And just my details for today, my bracelets are from Ana Luisa, my rings are also from Ana Luisa, these plugs are from Love Kills Boutique, and this is a Christmas brand wig. Check my FAQ in the description box if you need spelling. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in and rank 70 palettes. I think this is gonna be a long one, so you might wanna grab a snack. All right, hello, how's it going? First off, you might be thinking, wow, I bet she looks exactly the same as she did in the intro, and that's a lie. I'm wearing a face mask right now. Thank you very much. Let's get into this palette ranking. I thought doing it this style might be easier to just quickly visually see everything, and then I can kind of move on to the other things, because we have 70 palettes to go through. It's a lot, it's heavy, but it's gonna be fun. So let's just hop into it, kicking it off with number 70. In the number 70 slot, I gave it to the Colourpop Crush palette. It's one of the 5 pans. If you know me at all, you know I'm just not into like coppery toned neutrals. It's just not my thing. So this palette is just the least exciting thing to me out of every single thing I have to talk about. I think I only barely dipped into it once when I was first playing with these 5 pans all together at the beginning of the year. Yeah, this one's just not it for me. So number 70, it's not a bad palette. I can see a lot of people getting down with this, but it is my least favorite personally. Number 69 is gonna be the Animal Crossing What a Hoot, and pretty much for the same reason. It's just a little wad of coppery toned neutrals. The only reason I pushed this one above the previous one is because these do lean a little more regular neutral than coppery neutral. The other one was more coppery, this one's just warm. And I also just love the theme. This is probably gonna be one of the palettes that, even though it's ranked so low in my ranking, I probably won't declutter this when I do my declutter at the end of the year, just because I love Animal Crossing and I wanna keep it for myself because, yeah, I just wanna keep it. But it's ranked 69. It's just nothing that special on the inside to me. It's not one that I feel compelled to reach for, so there's that. Ranked number 68 is the Spoiled Lips Cosmetics palette in the shade Tropical Traveler. Yes, I thought I missed the name. I liked the concept of this. I liked that it was a long skinny palette, but the formula just didn't wow me. I did an Instagram video with this a while back, and I don't know, I just felt like I was having some patchiness issues and it wasn't doing what I really wanted it to do. And plus, and I know it's nitpicky, but I hate how bulky this is for it being like a travel palette. Like, it's just so much thicker than I feel like it needed to be. There's so much extra plastic here that I feel like is unnecessary. So yeah, this one just doesn't inspire me. I don't love using it, so yeah. Ranked number 68. Ranked number 67, and I think a lot of you are gonna disagree with me, but that's okay. This is the Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. I did do a first impressions video with this, and I was just bored. I don't know. There isn't necessarily anything horrible about this palette. It just had me feeling very underwhelmed and kind of bored playing with it, and I don't know. I feel tired looking at it. It doesn't make me want to use it, so it's not necessarily a palette that I think is horrible, but it bores me so much, and I just don't feel inspired using it so much that I ranked it pretty low. All of the other things I have to talk about going forward, I would much rather pull out, so yeah. Ranked number 67. That's that. Ranked number 66 is another Colourpop one. This is another one of those 5 pans from the beginning of the year. This is the Lyric palette. And again, it's not that inspiring to me personally, but I do think it's pretty at the same time. I get down with like cooler tone neutrals, and while this isn't crazy cool toned, it does lean a little more on that spectrum. And I don't know, I like it more than the ones I've talked about. It's a little bit more interesting. I could do a really pretty glam look with this. I don't think it's a must-have in my collection personally, but I do find it a little more exciting than the ones I just talked about, so. There we go, number 66. And then number 65 is another one of those 5 pans from Colourpop from the beginning of the year. This is the Ballad palette. This one is much more cool toned, much more on that smoky silver end. I love these kinds of colors. When I want to do something glam, this is almost always what I kind of go for. I think this is really pretty. It has a nice range of dimension. There are 2 sequin shadows in here, which isn't my favorite thing, but I just kind of pretend they're mattes and let it be. This isn't a revolutionary 5 pan, but I do think it's quite lovely, and I had a good time playing with it. I'm pretty sure I did a standalone Instagram video with this as well, on top of the fact that I did all 5 of these in like one video when they all came out to kind of mix together. So yeah, I think this one's cute. It's just not like so cute that I needed to rank it any higher than this. Number 64, this is the Illamasqua Beyond Artistry palette. This one is just only okay. When they sent it to me, I was intrigued because I like that they seem like very jewel toned shimmers. It's an all shimmer palette. I thought maybe it would be something that could be cool to do very moody, smoky, shimmery kind of looks, but the shimmers are only okay. Some are better than others, like this one has a little bit more texture to it, and like this one and this one, but some are just very sheer and lackluster like these two. I don't know. This just wasn't my favorite thing to play with, and I already don't reach for all shimmer palettes too often. It has to be very special for me to want to pull it out. And this one, it's just not very special. I did do an Instagram video with this, and I just honestly have not felt compelled to reach for this once since then. It's just only okay, and this does have a heftier price tag, so with that in mind, I just could not rank this any higher than I did, but I do enjoy it more than the ones I've talked about, so there we go. Number 64. Number 63, I gave it to the Essence Daily Dose of Love eyeshadow palette. I did do an Instagram video with this one. It's fine. I feel like for an affordable mauve toned 9-pan palette with a mixture of shimmers and mattes, it's okay. It's nothing outstanding, but it does perform better than I expected. The mattes are pretty blendable. I didn't have issues with patchiness, and the shimmers are fine. They're not revolutionary, but they look cute on the eyes. They're not dry looking shimmers, but it's just not anything that I personally am so wowed by that I could rank it much higher. But I don't think this one's bad. I think if you're looking for a very affordable, this kind of color story 9-pan palette, maybe this is for you. But on the flip side, there are a lot of other affordable things out there. There's Colourpop, for instance, even Alter Ego, which I'll get into soon. Those palettes can sometimes lean a bit bigger, but there are a lot of affordable options, so this doesn't like stand out like crazy. And I do like the other affordable options quality better. But again, this one's not bad. I don't have any major complaints. It just didn't like amaze me. Number 62, I'm giving it to the Colourpop Bambi palette. This is the Thumper palette. I do think this is a cute palette. I really don't have any major qualms with it. I like kind of the arrangement of the shadows. It was a unique kind of layout for Colourpop. They don't really do things in this particular shape very often. So I like the idea of this. It's just, it's only okay. The shadows are only going to do so much for you. You're only going to get so much diversity out of this. And it's weird because this isn't technically a monochromatic palette. Like, you do have like the pop of green in here, but I don't know. This almost makes me feel more limited than a monochromatic palette. So I don't know, it's cute. I had an enjoyable time with it. Maybe you're looking for a simple, cool tone neutral palette with a pop of unassuming green that's not gonna be too loud. It's okay. I just couldn't rank it any higher than this. I felt like it kind of needed to be in the bottom of the bottom, so there's that. And finally, rounding out the first bottom 10, this is gonna be number 61. This is the Amore palette. It's another one of those 5-pan palettes from the beginning of the year from Colourpop. This one's really pretty. I do enjoy this. I get down with berry tones. I don't love that there's a pressed glitter in here. As a general rule, a palette's better to me if it doesn't have a pressed glitter because I just prefer to use mattes and shimmers. I'd rather my glitters be separate so I can just choose to pull it in when I want to. But that's just me. I'm not against glitter, I just don't love them in my palettes. But regardless, I do think this is really pretty. I could make really pretty berry toned looks. I like berries against my blue-green eyes. I don't have any major qualms with this other than the fact that there's a glitter. And honestly, this might have gotten ranked a little higher if there wasn't a glitter. Who's to say? But I just love everything going forward more than this one. I'm more likely to reach for everything else more than this one, so I just had to keep kind of where it is. So there's that, number 61. Moving on to the next round, number 60. This is the Cherish palette. I think this might be the final one of those 5 pans from the beginning of the year from Colourpop. This one is my favorite of those 5, obviously. That's why it's ranked number 60. This is more like cherry tones, and I almost ranked the Amore higher than this one, but I do like this one more because it doesn't have the glitter. I'm fairly certain that if the other one did not have the glitter, I would have swapped these, the order of these, but regardless, it is what it is. These are magnetic, by the way, so I could rearrange these if I want to. I just don't really want to. But yeah, it's got cherry tones, a nice range of mattes here. There is the sequin, but I just pretend it's a matte. I like the 2 shimmers. You could do pretty solid, like pretty looks with this. It's not revolutionary, but it's cute. I did get down with this one. I like it. Number 60. Number 59 is the other Bambi palette with Colourpop. This is the Flower palette. I do like this one more than the Thumper, obviously. I like all these purpley tones. I like that there's this really deep purpley black shade. I like the 2 other matte purples. I like the shimmers. It's a really pretty purpley monochromatic palette. But on the flip side, Colourpop has come out with a lot of monochromatic palettes this year and just in general. So this one doesn't stand out to me like crazy, and there's just nothing about it that makes me want to rank it higher. So that's why I kept it here at number 59. Number 58 is going to be my Alter Ego Luster palette. And I really thought I would rank this one higher because I typically do really enjoy Alter Ego's formula. And for the most part, I do enjoy this palette. The only dud shade for me is Crystal. It's just like, I don't know, it applies a little bit dry. I don't know how else to explain it. It's not wet like this shade Sacred. Like that's glistening. It's so pretty. Honestly, the Sacred shade is kind of what makes me rank this palette a little bit higher, but it's just, I don't know. It's whatever. It's a fine enough palette, but it's not anything that's rocking my socks, so that's why it's not any higher than this. Ranked number 57 is another Colourpop Animal Crossing palette. This is the 5-Star Island palette. I did quite enjoy this one. I think it's a cute little combo of pink and yellow. Could it have been better? Absolutely. I wish there wasn't a pressed glitter in all of these Animal Crossing quads because that does fill in a space where it could have been another shadow. This one's cute. Again, it's not one that I'm reaching for all the time because you are kind of limited, but I thought it was adorable. I thought it deserved to be higher than the ones I previously talked about, but it also doesn't deserve to be any higher than this. But again, it's also one that's ranked really low that I probably will keep kicking around simply for the theme because it's adorable. Do I advocate buying things for a theme? No. But because they did send it to me and I already own it, I think I'll probably keep it just for like keepsake purposes. Number 56 is the Colourpop Your Golden palette. And I honestly expected this one to be ranked a little bit lower than I did rank it. This palette is really dirty. For some reason, this like kind of texture on palettes sometimes just, it gets so stained. I don't know why companies do that sometimes. This one isn't the most amazing to me. The formula's fine. It's a good standard Colourpop palette. The shimmers are nice, the mattes are fine. There is one pressed glitter. I just don't reach for big palettes very often. It has to be a really special palette for me to reach for a large palette like this. The main reason I rank this higher than the other palettes I just talked about is because I do genuinely like the colors in here. I like these kind of corally tones. I like the blues. Oh my gosh. My light is flickering like crazy. Let me try to see what I can do about that. All right, well, one of my light bulbs just blew, so I had to rearrange my lights a little bit. So I don't really know where we were. This palette's not that like amazing, but it's not so horrible that it needed to be ranked lower, but I'm not so inspired to use it like crazy, so I didn't want to rank it any higher. Ranked number 55 is this Colourpop 5 pan in the shade or name Make It Fearless. This came out during the Make It Black campaign, and I really enjoy this. I like this curated little color story. This just shows that Colourpop can do cute, innovative color stories in a 5 pan format. I mean, maybe this isn't innovative, it's just like sunset tones, but it's cute and it's not monochromatic and it's 5 pans. I really like this. I think it's cute. I did an Instagram video with it, and I don't know. I want to see more of this from Colourpop. They killed it with this, and I just want more. The only reason I didn't rank this one higher is just because I do genuinely enjoy everything else that I'm about to talk about more, but I do really like this guy. 54 is going to be the Cloud Spun palette from Colourpop. This one is so cute, if I can even open it. This one is a monochromatic palette, obviously. It's like bright pink tones. It's very cute. There is a pressed glitter in here, but honestly, the shimmers in here are so pretty. This is very like super shocky and reflective. The other shimmers are just super impactful. The mattes blend like a dream. I don't know. I just felt really cute wearing this one. I don't think it's the most like exciting monochromatic I've seen from them. I mean, obviously it's ranked pretty low on the totem pole out of everything, but I did think this was cute and it was fun to play with, and I enjoyed it more than the things I talked about previously. Ranked number 53 is the Alter Ego Canyon palette. And again, I do enjoy Alter Ego's formula. I really like this 15 pan format from them. This color story just doesn't wow me. I don't love warm tone neutrals. Again, I've talked about that a couple times. And I also don't like that they started this habit of including this kind of creamier texture as the darkest matte in a palette, because it doesn't build up to full intensity, and I wish that this palette could get deeper, and this just doesn't allow that. There is a brand new palette from them coming out. I think it's the like Shadow Kiss. I'm pretty sure it's getting delivered to me like in the next couple days. It just launched yesterday as I'm filming this. So I haven't tried that one yet. So I don't know if there's a formula change or not, but with this one and another one I'm going to talk about in a moment, they make like the deepest shades, this creamy shade, which I don't like, but I love the shimmers in here. This Plateau shade is gorgeous. I really like Desert Moon. There's some really pretty shimmers in here, so I do get down with that, and I don't think it's an ugly palette. It just doesn't like completely thrill me so much as far as color story goes. Ranked number 52 is going to be the Colourpop Wild Child palette. I love this. I think it's absolutely delicious. This one's like a really reflective packaging. I'm trying to hold it nicely for you, but it's a gorgeous 9 pan palette. Again, there is a pressed glitter in here, but I think this palette's gorgeous. It gets so rich and deep, and the shimmers are so impactful. I just love it. I feel really glamorous when I wear this palette. It's such a fun one to play with. It is just neutrals at the end of the day, but this is neutrals done really well. I like the range of depth in here. I don't know. I think it's just a really solid, well done palette from them, and I enjoyed it. So that's why I ranked it here. But again, I just don't love it so much that I wanted to rank it more, because I don't reach for neutrals on the regular, and if I'm gonna reach for neutrals on the regular, it has to be really special, usually cool tones. And finally, ranked number 51 is another Animal Crossing palette with Colourpop. This is the Nook Ink one. I'm a sucker for green eyeshadow. I think it's so cute. Again, I wish there wasn't that glitter in every Animal Crossing palette, but I do love this. I love the tones. I like this deep kind of foresty shade. I like the minty one. I love this shimmer. It's a really cute little quad of greens, but it's also not the most amazing thing ever, so I couldn't rank it much higher, but it is very cute. Moving on now to the next 10. We are on number 50. We're getting through it. This is the final one from the Animal Crossing collab. This is the La Belle of the Ball. This is my favorite of the 4, obviously. It's really pretty, and I kind of wish if they were gonna stick with the monochromatic vibe, they would have done what this one did, which was have a really interesting and unique duochrome as the shimmer. It's such a pretty shade. It's a really cool kind of bluey purple greeny tone. It's so unique and pretty. It's gorgeous, and I wish the other quads from this collab had that uniqueness to it. That just allowed this one to stand out a bit more. I love purple eyeshadow, and this one just deserved to be the highest out of those Animal Crossing ones, so I gave that slot number 50 to this one. Number 49, we have the Ether Beauty Mini Topaz palette. This is a really cute quad. I really like these grungy shades. Again, this is also an all shimmer palette, so it's one you're gonna kind of pair with other things usually. And I do enjoy this one. I don't reach for it all the time, but I like the tones in here. I like these grungy vibes. I like the antique gold. I like this kind of dirty olive shade. These are definitely my vibes. I like those jeweled grungy things. Yeah, I thought this one was really cute. It's not one I'm gonna reach for all the time, so I couldn't really rank it higher than this, but I do find it more appealing than what I've just talked about. Ranked number 48 is the Fine Feathered palette from Colourpop. This one came out very recently, and I do quite enjoy it. I like these berry tones. I think it's really pretty. Again, I like the range of depth in here. We have lighter things all the way to very deeper things. We have things that are a little bit more grapey toned and things that are a little bit more brighter and raspberry-esque. The shimmers are really cute. I think it's a solid monochromatic palette. Again, I do like berry tones on my eye color. I don't really have any qualms with this. I just simply like everything else going forward more, but I do think this is a solid palette and I can see a lot of people getting down with it. Ranked number 47 is from the Colourpop and Hello Kitty collab. This is the Cocoa Cutie quad. It's adorable. They did a great job with these quads. They eliminated the glitter that they did in the Animal Crossing one. We just have nice 2 matte, 2 shimmer ratio. Perfect combo. You can do a lot with a combo like that, honestly, because you have just more variety. I like that they included kind of more of a royal blue and then a little bit more of a aqua-y, turquoisey kind of blue, and even with the shimmers, they're totally different undertones, so I feel like it has a nice variety for what it is. The only reason I rank this one lower is because they already did come out with another monochromatic blue palette that's very similar in color story that I liked more than this one, so that's why I pushed this one down a little bit more, but I do like it. I think it's cute. They did a good job with these little quads. I think it's nice. I do want them to steer away from the monochromatic just a little bit. They did come out with mostly monochromatic so far this year, and I want them to get away from that, but I do like it. Number 46, I gave it to one of the other Colourpop Hello Kitty palettes. This one is the shade Cherry Sweet. I guess it's not a shade, it's just a name. This one I think is even better than the blue one. I mean, obviously it's why it's ranked higher, but I like that there's a very strong difference in tone for the 2 mattes. Like we have this more fuchsia-y pink and then more of a corally pink, and then we have this more richer pink with more of a highlighty pink. I think you can do a lot with this little quad. I like the tones in here. I think it's solid. I just like everything else more, so. Cuter than the blue one, but not as cute as everything coming up. Ranked number 45 is the Give Me Glow Sweet and Sticky palette. This was a subscriber gift and I love it. It's really pretty. Again, broken record. I don't reach for neutrals all the time, but I do like this one if I did want to reach for neutrals. You have a nice variety in here. You have a very, very deep shade, and this does lean a little purpley, which makes it more interesting. I really like this kind of weird yellow shade. This is a really pretty kind of toasted cinnamony pumpkin shade. I'm really gonna get down with this in the fall, to be honest with you. This icy white shimmer is just gorgeous. It's a really nice solid 6-pan palette. I'm happy I have it in my life. I'm making this blanket here, very wrinkly, my bad. Yeah, I do like this one. I think it's very solid. I'm definitely gonna reach for it like as needed. I couldn't rank it much higher because everything else going forward tugs at my heart more, but this is really, really pretty and I'm so grateful for this gift. Number 44 is part of the Colourpop monochromatic palettes that came out for spring. More of those 5 pans. This is the Too Hot palette, or Haute. I never know how to say it when it's spelled like H-A-U-T-E. I'm sure the pronunciation police will come after me. Thank you very much. It's cute. Again, I like that there's good variety in here. They did a good job with these particular 5 pans because we have light, medium, dark, and pretty much all of them. And then 2 shimmers. There's no glitters. It's nice. It's cute. I don't reach for bright pink eyeshadow all the time either, so I couldn't really justify ranking it higher, but it is nice. I don't really have any major complaints. I think it's pretty solid. Number 43 is very new in my collection. This is the Rare Beauty Confident Energy palette. They just sent this to me, and it's quite lovely. I wasn't sure what to expect because I didn't really have many expectations for Rare Beauty shadows. No particular reason. I don't know, I didn't really hear much about them, but I also didn't seek out reviews or anything, but I was pleasantly surprised. I found them to be shinier and more impactful than I thought. They're not crazy duochromes or anything metallic like that, but they're just pretty solid shimmers, and I like the colors in here. I like that we have the different pops of color, more of that like goldy shade. I really like this as an inner corner highlight. I don't know. I just felt like it deserved to be in this spot. I don't really have any particular reason. I just kind of had to go with what my gut was saying. I don't love it more than anything else I'm about to talk about, but I do enjoy it more than what I've already talked about. Ranked number 42 is the Cashmere palette, again part of that spring collection of 5-pan monochromatic ones from Colourpop. I really like the tones in here. It reminds me a lot of Menagerie's Flight Club, but super condensed, if that makes sense. Again, we have different undertones. We have kind of a lavender, more of a brighter purple, more of a like aubergine kind of purple. The two shimmers are really pretty. This makes a gorgeous inner corner highlight. Again, they really did step up their game with this. Even though I was just previously saying that I want them to get away from monochromatic, I feel like if you're gonna do monochromatic, at least do something like this, where it's not all one level. At least this has dimension. It has some spiciness to it. So this makes it a little more fun to play with. And then rounding out this next 10, this is number 41. This is Rumor Has It, again, part of that spring collection. And this is the one that is very similar to the Cocoa Cutie. I will show you. Very, very similar to the Cocoa Cutie, but I like this one a little bit more. One, because it has kind of this like indigo shimmer in here, but also, I don't know, I fell in love with this one first, so I just already kind of had my feelings on this one. But yeah, very similar. That's why I was having a hard time with that Cocoa Cutie one. But this one's really pretty. Again, lots of dimension, lots of different options. I like that there's these very cool toned blues with more of these turquoisey ones next to it. It's a good combo. This one's really fun. All right, moving on to our next 10, and we're about to round out the bottom half. Isn't that crazy? Ranked number 40 is the Blooms palette from Alter Ego. This one's really, really pretty, very kind of Valentine's-y romantic vibes. I like the combos of pinks, purples, and reds. It's really pretty. I like that there's the pop of silver. I like that there's just these different undertones. It's really pretty. Again, my main qualm is that this dark, deep shade that could be used to deepen up all the looks and this really pretty purple are both that creamy formula. So they don't build up to be as intense as I feel like they should be. Honestly, if these two were traditional mattes, I probably would have ranked this much higher. But because of that, I couldn't do it. So that's why it's here as number 40, but I do think it's really pretty. It was fun to play with. I'm still probably gonna dabble into it from time to time. 39 is another newer palette. This is the Cherry Crush from Colourpop. And I feel like this one got a lot of hate online. And to be honest, when I first saw pictures of it, I was kind of, I don't know, just unenthused because monochromatic again. But I will say, in person, I feel like it's less monochromatic than I realized because this row is kind of more mauvey purplies. This one is more like bright, fiery, not fiery, but just more bright, corally, warm pinky reds. And this is more like true pinks over here. I don't know. I feel like this one had nice variety. I really like the shimmers. I like the mattes. I feel like you could do a nice range of different things with this one. I don't really know what to say. I enjoyed playing with this. I did an Instagram video. I think it's pretty cute and I really like the cherry theme. It's adorable. Number 38 is another one of those Hello Kitty palettes. This is the Pineapple Cake palette. I love this. It's so cute. I love yellow eyeshadow. It's one of my favorite things to play with ever. And they did a great job with undertones in this one, in my opinion. We have more of a bright lemony yellow. This one's a little more mustardy. We have the two completely different kinds of shimmers. One's more highlighty, one's more yellow. I don't know. It's cute. I had fun with it. I haven't seen a lot of yellow eyeshadow so far this year. It's very few and far between. I feel like there was not really even a yellow in any of the palettes I talked about previously, except for maybe that tropical palette from Spoiled Lips, but this one was fun. It made me happy. I feel like it was good timing with the season. It's just adorable. Number 37 is gonna be that final Hello Kitty palette with Colourpop. This is Teeny Keeny. This was such a plot twist that I enjoyed this one so much because as a general rule, orange is like one of my least favorite things to reach for. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's honestly because of the copper neutral days from early YouTube. It kind of burned me out, but this is gorgeous. I love how rich and deep this matte orange here can get. And then this one's a little bit more bright. This shimmer is such a rich, more, I don't want to say a deep orange shimmer, but it has richness to it. And then this one's more of a creamsicle-y, highlighty shade. This is a very well done quad and I don't know, it just had me impressed. This was a cute one. And finally, rounding out the bottom half, number 35 is the Colourpop Lizzie McGuire What Dreams Are Made Of palette. This one I had a lot of fun with, especially when this came out in the spring. I was already talking about how I was super into like purples, pinks, corals, greens, that kind of thing, and this completely satisfied what I wanted for spring. There is a pressed glitter in here, but I had fun with this one. I think it's cute. I like the bright pops of color. I like that there's a good variety of mattes and shimmers. I had a good time with this one. I think it's really pretty, but I just like everything else more. So this one didn't make it into the top half, but it made it to the top of the bottom half. So I guess everything going forward is the favorite half. So now number 34 is the High Society palette from Colourpop. Again, part of that spring collection of 5 pan monochromatics. I love this. This one feels the least monochromatic to me personally, because we have kind of a turquoisey teal, we have more of a minty, a springy green, more of a chartreusey, more of a mint. This one has really, really good variety. I had a great time playing with this one. I feel like everything I did with this, I was able to do something completely different, and I don't know, this little guy is a lot of fun. Number 34 is Statement Piece, that final one of monochromatic palettes from the spring collection. And again, this one did surprise me a little bit because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like the orange one the best. But when I got it in person, I realized to me it leans more peachy coral, and I love peachy corals. So this one's a lot of fun. Again, we have nice variety of kind of like brighter orangey coral, more of like a pinkier coral, a lighter pinkier peachy shade. I don't know, this one's really fun and it's so incredibly bright. And I think the brightness of this is what sold me because it literally looked like my eyes were glowing when I put these 2 shades on my lids. Very, very pretty. Number 33 is gonna be my other Ether Beauty palette. This is the Joshua Tree palette and it's gorgeous. It's an all matte palette and it's all these really grungy, more jewel toned shades. It's so gorgeous. I didn't really have any expectations because this was my first time trying Ether Beauty's shadows, but they blend and build up so beautifully. I feel like every time I've used it, my look just comes out really easy. I don't have to question it too much. I like the variety of tone in here. I think this is a really solid all matte palette. You have a good variety of neutrals and colors. And it's nice because it doesn't just look like a typical half rainbow, half neutral palette. It has a different kind of feel to it. I really enjoyed this one. Number 32 is going to be my Colourpop High Tide palette. I'm loving this one and I'm honestly sad that I didn't try this one sooner. My friend Rachel bought it when it first launched on Ulta and gave me the option to like play with it and film a video, but I was already swamped with filming videos. But then when this launched on Colourpop's website a few weeks later, they did send it to me and I was kicking myself that I didn't try it sooner because it's gorgeous. There's so much range in here from really dark to really light. We have beautiful shimmers. I like that some lean more turquoise, some more true teal. It's a nice variety of shades in here and it's a really fun monochromatic palette. I'm shocked that they didn't do teals sooner and I feel like they should honestly play with teal tones more because they did a good job with it. Not in a monochromatic sense, but just incorporating it in other things. This one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. And finally, rounding out this 10, we have the Pastel Dreams from Give Me Glow. This was also part of that subscriber gift with the Sweet and Sticky palette. It's gorgeous, and I'd been talking myself out of this for a very long time when they first were dropping like the hints about it and then dropping pictures, and then it finally launched. I kept talking myself out of it, partly because I was moving at that time, so I was just able to kind of not prioritize it, but I kind of wish I would have just gotten it sooner because it's really pretty. This shade makes a really good blush, by the way. I like that there's the equal mattes and shimmers. Everything goes together really nicely. The shimmers are super impactful and the mattes all blend really nicely. I did a lot of videos with this. I did Instagram first impressions and a 2 looks video. So I played with this quite a bit and I just had a great time. It made me feel really cute. I told myself I didn't need more pastels in my collection, but I'm really glad that I have this in my collection, truly. All right, moving on now to the top 30. Number 30 is gonna be my Rococo palette from Musée Beauty. This one is gorgeous, gorgeous cute. I really, really like the tones in here. I love these 2 kind of like periwinkle indigo shades. I don't really know how to describe them. There's gorgeous greens, the mint, the aubergine, really pretty neutrals if you're someone who likes to mix neutrals and colors. The mattes blend really nicely. They're very buildable and very beginner friendly in my opinion. And the shimmers are really nice. They're not crazy metallic and shifty, but they just look really wet and shiny. They did a nice job with this one. I will say I was expecting more from the spring collection just based on what they were saying. When they first talked about the Le Jardin, I thought that it was gonna be more similar to that vibe, and this is completely different. I'll get into the Le Jardin here in a moment, but I'm not mad at this one. I just feel like I expected something different, and this wasn't it, but I do like this one. It's quite lovely. Number 29 is gonna be my Odin's Eye palette in the Style Verdandi. This is gorgeous. These palettes are gonna be really hard to hold on camera because they're so reflective and shifty. But I love their little 6 pan palettes. I mean, technically it's a 5 pan with a split pan, so a 6 shadow palette. The mattes are very smooth and blendable. I love the shimmers. These 2 shimmers are so metallic and reflective and impactful. It's amazing. The only reason this one isn't much higher is just because this particular color combo doesn't like completely tickle my fancy. I do enjoy it and I love the formula in here, but I'm not so in love with this particular color story that I could rank it much higher, but I think it's gorgeous and such a pleasure to play with. Number 28 is gonna be the Alien Cosmetics Bunnies palette. This one is new to me. I only just tried this a couple weeks ago and it's really pretty. I hadn't tried this brand before and then they sent me this palette and I was really pleasantly surprised. The small pans are the mattes, the big pans are the shimmers. The shimmers are so pretty. In particular, these two, they're so wet and glossy feeling and they look so shifty and dimensional on the lids, and the other ones are just really bright. The mattes all blend pretty easily. I was overall pretty impressed. I want to play with this again pretty soon. I'm hoping to do like a get ready with me or something with this at some point, but my filming list is forever long. I'm quite enjoying this though. I think the shimmers take the cake, honestly, and this makes me want to try more from the brand. Number 27 is gonna be the So Very Lovely palette from Colourpop. I really enjoyed this one. They did such a good job. They did a really nice, fun, curated color story that's really pretty, very romantic, and it's not monochromatic, and there's no glitters, there's no sequin shadows. This is like such a good combination of colors for me. I've had a great time with it. It was so fun for me in the springtime. I really love the pops of purple and pink in here. Overall, this was just a really solid release. I really enjoyed the whole collection from this line from them, the So Very Lovely collection. I want to see more stuff like this because they have the potential to do really fun curated collections. I have a couple more to talk about coming up, and this is just what I want to see. You'll notice none of the monochromatic palettes are in the top half. I mean, I think this was in the top half, maybe. But everything going forward is more curated and more exciting, and I just love this. This really was so very lovely, you know? Number 26, I think. I feel like I'm losing count. This is the Fantasy palette from Game Beauty. It's so pretty. They did such a good job with this. This came out earlier in the year and I felt like it was the perfect transition from like winter into spring. It has those icy Arctic tones, but also these brighter pastels. The shimmers are so pretty, especially Ethereal. Celestial is such a bright, sparkly, shimmery white. The mattes all blended really nicely. Mana really does show super dimensionally, sometimes with speckled shadows like this. I don't know, it doesn't really blow me away, but this actually does show a lot of dimension on the eyes. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. This one was a fun palette to play with and I'm really anxiously awaiting them to release something else because I love their concepts and ideas and I can't wait to see more from them. Number 25 is the Menagerie Flight Club palette. I do want to start by saying I wish this palette included a bright green like it does in the picture, but aside from that, if I can even hold this open, I love this and I could easily swap like this shadow for like a bright green if I wanted to. I just don't typically customize my palettes. It's not really my thing. If that's your thing, go for it. But other than that, I love this palette. I love this rich kind of aubergine shade. It's so reflective on the eyes. So many different tones of mattes. Even though this is monochromatic, it's not completely because there's different undertones. There's different kinds of ways you can vibe with the colors. Everything is so richly pigmented. The shimmers are extra impactful. I don't know if they changed their formula with this or not, but I feel like the shimmers in this are so incredibly impactful and I absolutely love it. I think my only qualm is I wish this was already like a brighter green, but again, I could do that on my own if I want to, so there's that. Number 24 is the Odin's Eye Saga of Freya palette. This is the one with the double-sided palette situation. Let me try to hold this in such a way, there we go, that you can see both sides. It's really pretty. This is kind of more of that romantic berry tone side, and I call this my pumpkin harvest side because it has like the pumpkin orange and like the green and the warm toasty colors. I think this is a really solid palette. I don't love double-sided palettes a ton, but I don't hate it with this one because it's still really cute and small, and I just like the detail that it's like literally an actual book. It's such a beautiful just piece of decor, honestly, and the formulas inside are really nice. No glitters, no nothing like that, just really dimensional shimmers and nice solid mattes. Number 23 is the Melt Cosmetics Millennial Pinks palette. I treated myself to this when it was on sale, I think through Sephora maybe? Yeah, I treated myself to it because I've been wanting it for such a long time, and even though there were hit or miss reviews, a lot of you encouraged me to get it anyways because I've never had issues with Melt, and a lot of you said you've never had issues either, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out, and I personally did not have issues. Let me try to actually just bend this back so I can hold it more proper. I think it performs fine. I didn't have any issues with blending or anything like that. The mattes all blended like a dream for me. The shimmers are all really pretty. These two in particular are so rich and shiny and impactful on the lids. I've had a great time with this and I'm really, really happy I treated myself to it because it's just been nothing but fun. Obviously, everyone's gonna have their own experiences when it comes to eyeshadow, but I personally had nothing but good experience with this. Number 22 is the Musée Beauty Les Jardins palette. This was limited edition. It's not available anymore and I wish it was, because look at this color story. This is what I was really craving. Like, I did love the Lizzie McGuire for spring, but this one was like everything I was feeling during springtime. These peachy pinks, the purples, the greens, I love it. And I wasn't expecting an exact like same palette but in bigger form for the spring palette, the Rococo palette to be, but when they said if you missed out on this one, stay tuned for the spring launch, I thought it would be similar vibes. Completely different vibes in my opinion, but regardless, I like both. I just love this one more and I wish they would have kept this one permanent. I also like how sleek the packaging is because compared to this one, it's very bulky. This was a really solid palette. This one might be, I don't know what's my favorite palette from them. I feel like it's either this one or the Van Gogh. It's so hard to decide. I do vibe with this one a lot though. And finally, rounding out the next 10, number 21, this is the Nomad Cosmetics America's Parks palette. I've had such a good time with this palette. It's very pretty, gorgeous. I love the shimmers in here. Again, with this formula, I feel like they really stepped it up. The shimmers are extra sparkly, extra special. The mattes all blend really nicely. I like that everything's a little bit more jewel toned and grungy. It's very colorful without it being a basic rainbow, and I just think they really nailed it. They did a good job kind of capturing those naturey tones. And this one was just a lot of fun to play with. I've had such a great time dipping into this one. All right, getting into the top 20. Can you believe we've made it through? Number 20 is gonna be my Oden's Eye Amber Tears palette. This was part of the Saga of Freya collection and I love this one. It's very cute. I love, love, love peaches, reds, and purples together. I think it's such a good combo. This sparkly bluey purple duochrome topper is gorgeous. I love the antique gold, this very pretty kind of peachy pink shimmer. There's a lot of good things in this palette. I talked about it in my summer favorites video because I just felt like it captured what I was going for. I enjoyed this one quite a bit and I like that it's a book but it's not double-sided. I did like that more than the bigger one. And I just like the color story inside quite a bit. Number 19 is gonna be my Sugar Pill Anniversary Capsule Palette. This was one of the first things I tried this year, actually. It's gorgeous. I love the different shimmers, especially this minty shimmer and this purple. It's gorgeous. I probably talked about this in my springtime favorites as well because this is just what I was going for so much. I like the blush tone in here. I like the different mattes. I found this one to be really, really fun to play with, and I wasn't that excited about it when they first dropped pictures. It seemed a little, I don't know, kind of boring and repetitive to me based on their other capsule palettes, but I did do a video where I compared all of the shadows throughout all 4 capsules, and there's really not a lot of dupes across the board. They all are pretty much their own unique thing, but I don't know, when I got to playing with this one in real life, I realized how much I was enjoying it. This is a really solid palette. And the formula is just gorgeous. The mattes blend like a dream. Number 18 is the Oden's Eye Schooled palette, and I love this. I mentioned earlier in the video that I don't reach for all shimmer palettes often unless it's really special. This is one of those occasions where it's an all shimmer palette, but it's so special. The shimmers are so gorgeous. They're so rich, especially this green. It's mouth watering. Everything is so bright and sparkly. Even this orange, honestly, kind of takes my breath away. And again, I'm not the biggest orange person, but I don't know. Something about this palette is so special to me and I love playing with it. I feel so pretty and fairy-like when I use it. I've used it by itself. I've used it in conjunction with other things. I've used it on top of like a big black wing so that I could have like a sparkly reflective wing. It's a lot of fun. And I actually didn't expect this one to be as high as it was, but I like it in this spot. I think it deserves this place. Number 17 is the Colourpop Lush in Paradise palette. This is gorgeous. One of my favorite launches from them this year. This is gonna be another one that's hard to capture because it's such a reflective packaging. I hate when palettes have this reflective gold. It's so hard to show on camera. But it's so pretty. I love these rich jewel tones. We have that deep blue, the turquoise, all these gorgeous colorful shimmers. I do wish this had a bright yellow matte in it. I feel like that would have taken it to the next level. I realized that based on what you guys were saying in my comment section, and I completely agree. But other than that, I think it's gorgeous. Again, no sequins, no glitters. I love it. It's colorful and I just have such a fun time with it. Number 16 is that final palette from the Saga of Freya collection with Oden's Eye. This is the Cat's Breath. I'm obsessed with this palette. It's gorgeous. I love the mixture of teals, turquoises, blues, peaches, oranges. It's all good things. These two shimmery topper shades are gorgeous. The shimmery tealy blue is so wet and dimensional on the lids. The mattes blend beautifully. This is such a fun color story. I've had such a beautiful time playing with it. And in my first impressions video, because I'm sure I will get asked for those of you who haven't seen, in my first impressions video with this particular palette, I did do comparisons to the Kaleidos Electro Turquoise. So if you want to see comparison swatches, you can check that out. I love this. It's gorgeous. I'm so happy it's in this slot. Ooh, now we're officially in the top 15. This is my Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette. This was a subscriber gift and I'm so eternally grateful. Pun intended. It's gorgeous. I'm so mad at myself that I slept on this because it's stunning. These shimmers are so rich. It gets so deep and grungy. The blues are to die for. This silver is so bright, probably one of the brightest silvers I have in my collection. The mattes all blend like a dream. I like that there's kind of the cool toned options you can do, but you can also do things that are a little bit warmer. It's pretty versatile for what it is, and I am just so in love with it, and yeah. Number 14, I believe, is my final Colourpop palette, my favorite palette they've released this year. This is the Limoncello palette. I cannot believe how head over heels in love with this palette I am, to be honest with you, and it's a little bit bigger than the typical 12 pans. They're usually this size. A little bit bigger, but not giant by any means. I just love this color story. I in particular have always loved blue and yellow together. I think it's so cute. The shimmers in here are so pretty. Again, no glitters, no sequin shadows. The mattes are so pretty, and I feel like this might be surprising that it's up so high, and it surprised me, honestly. I didn't expect to fall so in love with it, but it's just gorgeous. It's so easy to play with. It's so easy to just throw a look together that's gonna be really pretty. It's easy to make a look unique with this palette as well, because there's just unique tones in here. I love this. They did such a killer job with this collection, and this is what I wanna see more of. Between this, the Lush Life, the So Very Lovely, this is what I want more of. Number 13 is my Melt Cosmetics Mary Jane palette, and I feel like this is controversial because I feel like a lot of people did not enjoy this palette, but I just really did. Again, I love me some cool tones. I guess this is technically my favorite neutral palette of the year because I think everything else going forward is very colorful, but I love cool tones. I love the shimmers. They're so dimensional and reflective. I love the mattes. They blend like a dream, and you have different tones of mattes. I love this grungy matte in particular. I'm obsessed with this. I don't know anything about smoking, so I don't know anything about the theming, but I just know I like the colors on the inside and how they perform. I've yet to meet a Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow that I didn't like, and I'm so happy that I bought this for myself because it's one of my favorites of the year. This next one, number 12, is this baby. This is the Lethal Cosmetics and Teresa is Dead collab, the Lethal is Dead palette. They killed it with this. I'm obsessed with it. I love these colors, the mixtures of pinky reds and greens and blues and purples. It's so good. I love the spooky theme. It's absolutely stunning. I'm so proud of Teresa. I'm actually about to film a 2 looks with this next week, so stay tuned for that. I have already done an Instagram video and a first impressions. I'm having a blast with this. It's gorgeous, 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 and I could not be happier for her. All right, number 11, before we get into the top 10, this is the Give Me Glow Vivid Rose palette. I had such a blast. I think this may have been the first palette I tried this year, technically. It's gorgeous. I love the combination of pinks and purples. The shimmers are so outstanding. I love how pigmented the mattes are. As usual with Give Me Glow, they get so bright and it's so fun. They blended like butter. I just had such a pleasant experience with this, and it makes me happy looking at it. So I just knew it had to be up at the top of my list. It's gorgeous. I had so much fun. All right, finally getting into my top 10. Number 10 is gonna be my Glamlight and Michaela palette. I treated myself to this a few weeks ago, and I'm so glad I did. I've had so much fun with this. I took it on my birthday trip with me. I've filmed many, many looks with this. And again, I know this is gonna be shocking that a 30 pan palette made it into my top 10 because I don't love palettes this large. But like I said before, if it's really special, sometimes I love it anyway. And that's how this is for me. The shimmers are so outstanding. I love how the mattes are so pigmented and they blend so beautifully. I've had 0 issues. I've seen some of your comments that some of you have had issues with this palette, but I personally have not. It's been such a dream to play with and work with. I've had so much fun creating cool color combos, and this palette just brings me so much joy, and I'm so happy I treated myself to it. Number 9 is going to my Nomad Cosmetics Fire and Ice palette. This is the Iceland palette, and it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, they killed it with this palette. This is definitely my favorite palette they've ever released. I love the tones in here. We have yummy, smoky, silvery grays. We have beautiful blues. We even have those bright, warm tones. These shimmers over here are so outstanding. I just love this palette with my whole heart and soul. It's gorgeous. They killed it. It deserves to be in the top 10. Number 8 is going to my Erd palette from Odin's Eye. This one just makes me so happy. It's gorgeous. I live for these tones. Again, I'm a sucker for greens. This split pan is beautiful. This shimmer green is so rich and delicious. Love this olive here. I just love it. Every time I play with this palette, I feel so beautiful. It's so much fun to play with and easy to work with, and the shimmers just make me smile. This one is such a good one. Number 7 is going to be my Odin's Eye Norns palette. It's so gorgeous. It's so much fun. I love this. This is by far my favorite palette they've ever done. There's no glitters, it's just sparkly, shimmery magic. The mattes are so deep. I love this jewel toned teal. The shimmers kill it with this palette. This bottom row is outstanding. Everything is so wet and dimensional. And I like the variety of tones in here. I feel like every time I play with it, I do something totally different. It sparks all the joy, and I just knew that this was gonna be in my top 10. I've known for a long time this was gonna be in my top 10, at least for so far this year. We'll see how it goes by the end of the year, but I have a feeling this might even make it into the top 10 at the end of the year because it just makes me so incredibly happy. Number 6 is another Lethal Cosmetics palette, and this was also a subscriber gift. Actually, the next 3 are subscriber gifts, and they were all from the same person, including the Eternal Eclipse. Gigi, if you watch this, thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to me. This is the Velvet Dusk palette, and I'm in love with it. It's a grungy dream. I can tell you right now this is gonna go in my fall favorites this year because it's just what I'm gonna be craving. I love these rich grungy tones. I love these shimmers. I feel like there's gonna be such a common theme with my top 10. I live for rich tones. It's gorgeous. The shimmers are so pretty. I feel like I haven't played with this one on camera enough, but I do dip into it from time to time in my real life, and it just makes me so thrilled every single time. Lethal has such a good formula, and I wanna try more from them. All right, getting into my top 5. These are the top 5 best palettes, in my opinion, that I've tried out of 70 this year. That's crazy. Number 5 is the Lethal Cosmetics After Dark palette. It's so much fun. It's such a good combination of neons, but also like can be a little toned down. Like some of these can be almost blended to be a little bit more grungy. I love this deep purple. This green is so good. The shimmers are so dimensional and reflective. I love these two at the bottom here. Oh, it's just all good things. I love it so much. It's so pretty. Number 4 is my Strawberry Dream palette from Lunar Beauty. Again, I'm so sad that I slept on this because I initially skipped out on this one because I just felt like, I don't know, maybe it was a little basic, I didn't need it. This is anything but basic. The mattes blend so richly, they're so pigmented. The blues are absolutely gorgeous. I love this bright pink. The shimmers are outstanding. They look so wet and reflective on the eyes. This is absolutely beautiful, and it also makes a great face highlight. This palette is so good, and I'm just so thankful that I got gifted this because I might not have ever known, because I think I would have just skipped out on it. And I'm keeping such a close eye on Lunar Beauty now, you have no idea. I did skip out on the New Life's a Drag palette just because I did declutter my old one, so I felt like it would be silly to buy the new one. But next time he comes out with a palette like this format, I might get it because his formula is amazing. And I knew his formula was good because I have the Moon Spell, but those 2 palettes I tried this year, I just didn't think I needed, but apparently I did. All right, getting into the top 3, none of these are gonna be a surprise. Number 3 is the Club Nebula palette from Angelica and Kaleidos. She killed this collab. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing. I'm so incredibly happy for her and proud of her for her successful launch. I love the rich, yummy, deep, jewel toned, colorful tones. There are bright pops in here. I love that bright neon green. The shimmers are outstanding. Oh my gosh, they look so wet on the eyes. She killed it. I'm in love with this palette. Every time I use it, I am obsessed with my makeup. She did such a beautiful job, and I knew it was gonna be really high up. There's no way this isn't gonna be in my top 10 by the end of the year as well. Number 2 is my Glaminatrix You Beauty palette. I'm so in love with this one. It absolutely astounds me. My palette's a little bit dirty because this shade likes to explode on me sometimes, but regardless, it's amazing. I love these rich, just saturated mattes. This yellow is gorgeous. This Gaudet shade is one of my favorite shadows I've ever tried. It's such a reflective, peachy, multi-chrome. I don't even know how to describe it. This is gorgeous, that's gorgeous, that's gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. Every time I use this palette, my makeup is amazing. I love how unique it is. I don't have a palette like this. The shimmers are so special in here. They did such a good job creating this palette. I know it's a higher price tag, and I'm so beyond grateful that they sent it to me, but these shimmers are just so good. I'm so impressed with it, and it makes me so happy. I've gotten so much use out of this one. And finally, number one. I don't think this is gonna surprise anyone, but it's the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. This has been my favorite release of the whole year. It's gorgeous. It is like such a perfect combination for me. It's such a good combo of brights and grunge. The shimmers are gorgeous. Both of these make great face highlights. I live for this chlorophyll shade. Every time I do my makeup with this, I feel so cool. I make such great color combinations. This palette has been such a pleasure to play with. And as much as I love the little 6-pan palettes Kaleidos does, and I want another one, because there has not been one yet this year, I actually really enjoyed this format as well. I think it's really nice, it's very sleek, and this palette just takes my breath away. The second I saw this color story, I just knew it was over. I was like, I'm pretty sure that might be my favorite palette so far this year. And it stayed true. I won't be surprised if this stays number one throughout the year, but I'm sure it will stay in the top 10, like by far. There's no way it won't. It's so pretty. I had so much fun with it. When I was doing my 2 looks video with this, I did have an issue with this shade on one eye blending weird, but it didn't blend weird on the other eye. And I haven't had issues with it since, so I think I was just having an off day, but I love it. It's gorgeous, it's perfection. Kaleidos is one of my favorite brands, and this is one of my favorite color stories ever. It's so pretty, and I'm so proud to put this as number one. Hello, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the ranking. Was it interesting? Did anything surprise you? I feel pretty solid about my ranking order, if I'm being honest with you. I've worked very hard on it, and in my mind, my logic makes sense, but let me know if anything surprised you. I would love to know what your favorite palettes are that you have tried so far this year. I always love hearing your responses to my ranking videos, and I'm so curious to see what your favorites have been this year so far. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me your current 5 most used emojis. Usually I say leave me your last 10 most recently used emojis for my ranking my last 10 palettes video, but I'm not gonna make you leave me your last 70 used emojis, so just leave me your top 5. And if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram, it's BeautyBean, follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm posting most days here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.